The Final Assault. May 28, 1453. The last full day, Mehmed had called his commanders together 2 days before and announced his decision. The final assault would come the following night, in the small hours of May 29th, before dawn. The announcement was read aloud to the assembled army with ceremony. There was prayer. There was the sound of drums and cymbals. Soldiers shouted and lit fires and prepared themselves in whatever way men prepare themselves for what they know may be their last hours. Inside the city, the last full day was a day of ceremony too, but of a different kind. In the afternoon, Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos did something remarkable. He convened a meeting of his senior officers and officials, Greek, Venetian, Genoese, Catalan, and he gave a speech. We have several versions of it from Greek and Italian sources who were present. They differ in particulars, but not in essence. He told them that they faced 4 obligations: to their faith, to their emperor, to their fatherland, and to their families. He reminded them that they had held for 7 weeks against an army many times their size. He told them he was prepared to die alongside them. Then he asked forgiveness of each man individually for any wrong he had done them. Each man in that room, in turn, embraced him. That evening, the last Christian ceremony in the Hagia Sophia took place. It was a Vespers service, and it drew everyone who could attend, Orthodox and Catholic together, their theological differences dissolved, for one night, in the acid of shared extremity. The Patriarch was there. The Emperor was there. Venetians and Genoese who had been quarreling over docking rights weeks before knelt side by side. The church was lit by every candle that could be found. The great dome above floated in golden light. Voices rose in the ancient liturgy, Greek rising to those 40 windows, to that impossible ceiling, to whatever or whoever lived above it. For 2 hours, the city prayed. Then Constantine put on his armor. He rode to the walls. He took up his position at the Mesotachion, the most threatened section, the section that had been battered for 7 weeks, the section where the breaches were deepest. He waited. Shortly after midnight on May 29th, Mehmed gave the order. The Ottoman drums began. The sound of them, thousands of drums all at once, was described by survivors as a physical force, something felt in the chest before it was heard by the ears. Then the trumpets, then the voices, the Ottoman battle cry rolling across the plain before the walls. The Bashi bazooks came first. The irregular troops, Mehmed spent them deliberately, sending wave after wave against the walls, not to break them, but to exhaust the defenders. They came in their thousands, and they died in their thousands, and the Christian soldiers on the walls who cut them down did not celebrate, because they knew that the real assault had not yet begun. For 2 hours, the irregulars came and died. The defenders were tiring. Their arms were heavy. Their ammunition was running low. Then Mehmed sent in the Anatolians. These were regular Ottoman soldiers, disciplined, well-armed, experienced. They drove through the darkness toward the breaches, and in the gaps in the ruined wall there were terrible close-quarters fights, men stabbing and cutting in spaces where there was no room to swing a sword properly, men falling into the rubble of what had been stone certainty. Still, the city held. For another hour, the defenders held. Giovanni Giustiniani was everywhere, rallying his Genoese soldiers, moving to wherever the line was weakest, a professional soldier doing what professional soldiers do when history is watching. Then, Sometime around 4 a.m., a crossbow bolt, or perhaps a firearm, the sources disagree, struck Giustiniani in the chest. It penetrated his armor. The wound was serious. He was still alive, but he was bleeding, and he could not stand. He asked Constantine for the keys to a gate behind the walls so he could be taken to a ship. Constantine, who could not afford to lose Giustiniani, who could not afford to lose anyone, refused at first, then relented. The gate was opened. And when the defenders saw Giustiniani being carried away from the wall, when they saw their best commander leaving, something broke. Not the wall, something subtler, something interior. Men began to withdraw from the outer wall to help carry the wounded. The rhythm of the defense, which had held for 7 weeks through will and discipline and routine, fractured.
Mehmed saw it. He had been watching all night, riding behind his lines, his face, according to observers, showing nothing. He unleashed the Janissaries. The elite of the Ottoman army, the finest infantry in the world, they had been waiting all night. They were fresh, rested, and they moved toward the walls in disciplined silence, each man knowing his place, each man trained from childhood for exactly this. At the Kerkeporta, the small postern gate, the forgotten gate near the Blakene, something went wrong. Perhaps it had been left open accidentally when Giustiniani's men passed through. Perhaps it was never properly secured in the chaos of the night. The sources are unclear. A small group of Ottoman soldiers found it, open. They pushed through. They were on the inside of the walls. They climbed to the top of the rampart and raised the Ottoman standard, red with the crescent, above the city. A shout went up. Somewhere in the darkness, a voice cried what may have been the single most consequential sentence spoken in the 15th century. The city is taken. The Greek soldiers heard it, some believing the wall had been breached, broke and ran. The ones who didn't break fought on, but now they were fighting in a city that was coming apart beneath them, fighting a defense that had lost its shape. Constantine XI, Palaiologos, last emperor of Rome, stood at the Mesotachion and watched his empire end. What happened next is uncertain. The sources give us several versions, and the honest answer is that no one knows exactly how he died. We know that he removed his imperial regalia, the purple, the symbols of his office, so that he would not be taken alive. We know that he drew his sword. We know that he charged into the oncoming Ottoman soldiers. He was never seen again. His body was never definitively identified. Later, Mehmed was reportedly shown a head he was told was the emperor's. He had it preserved and sent to the courts of Europe as proof of victory. Whether it was truly Constantine's head, no one can say with certainty. What we know is this: he did not flee. He did not surrender. He died as he had lived, as a Roman emperor fighting for walls that had held for 1,000 years,